All right. Welcome back to another episode of Siblings in Crime. I'm Allie Rossell.
And I'm Blake Murphy.
And just as it sounds, we're siblings who love true crime.
Yes, love it.
For a moment, I was like, how do we start?
It's been a little bit.
I know. It feels like it has been. Even though we're right on track.
Yes, ma'am.
As always, if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, comment. We are Siblings in Crime Pod on all platforms. I think YouTube's doing our best, so thank you for the support and all the encouragement. We also love podcast requests. So if there's a story you want to hear more about, let us know. We love to deep dive.
Yes, and we had a goal to hit 100 subscribers before, I forget what day, November, and we hit 140.
So thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. So now our goal is 250 before the end of the year.
So share it, give it to your friends.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little ambitious, but I'm all for ambitious goals.
Yep. So
we appreciate your support.
Yeah.
And of course, shout out to our researcher, Hannah. She helped me a ton with this podcast. So I'm excited for everyone to hear it.
Go Hannah.
Go Hannah. You ready to get right into it?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, the hum of tires and the rush of coastal wind fill the air. 13-year-old Tyler Edmonds stares out the window, watching the Mississippi shoreline fade behind him. Beside him in the driver's seat, his sister, half-sister, Kristi Fulgham, taps the steering wheel to a country song on the radio. The two have spent the weekend together, a quick beach trip. The two are super close, and she takes any chance to spoil her little brother with sun, junk food, and a time away from home. As they drive inland on this Mother's Day weekend of 2003, Kristi's phone won't stop ringing. At first, she ignores it, but then it buzzes again and again. She glances down at the screen, curiosity and worry slowly starting to sink in. When she finally answers, the color drains from her face. Something's happened back home. In today's story, nothing is as it seems. So buckle up. This story is of Kristi's ex-husband, Joey Fulgham. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's roll. Okay, we're going to start on Saturday, May 10th of 2003. So who knows what was going on in the early 2000s? Not us. Especially in Mississippi.
Yeah, Mississippi. No.
We don't know what's going on. I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
But Joey Fulgham hadn't answered his phone all morning. And when he didn't show up for an air show he was supposed to meet his family at, they're all getting a little worried. An air show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I couldn't find if he was like a big plane guy or anything like that. I don't know if they were only worried because he was supposed to meet them there or if this is something he would never miss, you know?
Yeah.
So regardless, his family's starting to get a little more concerned. The next day was Mother's Day, though, and Joey's supposed to go over to his mom's house. They were going to do like some Mother's Day festivities, and Joey hadn't shown up for that either.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so at this point, they're like, okay, now we're starting to panic, and so they send a relative over to go check on him. In a quiet Starkville neighborhood, a relative stops by 33-year-old Joey Fulgham's home. When the door opens, the air feels heavy and still. The relative steps inside, calling his name, and the house is, of course, we're a true crime podcast. It's eerily silent in there. Moments later, a panicked voice reaches the 911 dispatcher. Joey Fulgham is dead. When deputies arrive, the front door is unlocked. Inside the bedroom, Joey lies face down on the bed with dark stains spreading across his pillow. One bullet to the back of the head. Here's the thing. His wallet and his computer were gone. However, he had his wedding band, his TV, cash, all that remained untouched. So, there was no sign of a struggle. There was no sign of forced entry. Was this a robbery or personal? That's what they're thinking of first thing. I always laugh about the forced entry thing. I think we've talked about that before. I feel like it's easy to get in, right? Not easy, but if someone knocks and you open the door, that won't look, and like you push yourself in, that won't look like forced entry.
Yeah, but you could also like be pushing the door closed and they're pushing and then like you're knocking things down around you and
I mean I can see a struggle.
Like that's like struggle forced entry too.
Yeah.
But when you get to a certain point that you want me to write down what I think's gonna happen, let me know.
Well, have you had any thoughts yet?
I have some thoughts.
Well, then write it down.
I know, but I don't want to update it
Is it too premature?
Yeah, it's too, like, tell me when it's like a good time.
Okay.
So that I can actually like have a chance of guessing.
I'll give you a little bit some information.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. But as still with like the forced entry thing, like in the mornings we leave our doors open and stuff, and it's like maybe Joey wasn't one to lock his doors.
Yeah.
You know, so things like that. That always makes me curious, like why. I mean, I guess if there's no forced entry, you're leaning towards personal, but in my opinion, that shouldn't like knock out other possibilities. But what do I know?
Yeah, what do you know?
Nothing. Crime scene techs move carefully through the small home. On a table, they find Joey's recently cashed paycheck and a half-drunk cup of coffee. In another room, an old .22 caliber rifle. The bullet wound tells them what kind of gun fired it, but not who fired it. So that's what they're going into.
Back of the head, right?
Back of the head, yeah. So it couldn't have been self-inflicted.
And it's his gun?
We're going to get into that.
All right.
So Joey Thomas Fulgham. Let's start with him. Obviously the victim. He was born in Mississippi in 1968. He was the kind of person that people called like steady. He was just a reliable guy. After high school, he joined the Army National Guard. He served his country for years before returning home to Starkville. He worked full-time, paid his bills on time, seemingly responsible, regular adult. His friends and coworkers described him as quieter but loyal. He was a proud father of 3 children. He was beloved father, soldier, and son, and he was the type of person who deserved to have his murderer behind bars. And so just getting some information, detectives are like, we got to find this person. Regardless if he's a good person or not, they're going to want to find the murderer.
Yeah.
But with, like, such a great family, like, that is, like, pushing for this to be solved, they're, like, going full steam ahead.
Yeah.
So by afternoon, the investigation had already kind of narrowed. Detectives note that there's no sign of anyone that broke in, meaning Joey likely let his killer inside. Whoever did this was someone he knew, they think, maybe someone he trusted. Detectives actually first questioned Joey's brother, and depending on the source, it seemed as though this is the brother that came and found him that day when he was missing. His name's Shannon, I believe. I guess he was really emotional, but very matter of fact. He was like straight to the point, wanting to get this solved. But he was quick to point fingers at his ex-wife, Kristi, which is common. I wouldn't be surprised. She and Joey's divorce had finalized just months earlier, after years of turbulence that everyone in Starkville and beyond Starkville knew about. They were once happy, right, as most couples are. Over the years, they built a family. They had a son, Tyler, not to confuse with her, 13-year-old brother, Tyler.
Yeah.
So we got 2 Tylers. And then 2 daughters, Darian and Haley. I think Haley was the youngest from what I could find. But regardless, 2 girls and a boy. Behind the smiles, the marriage was fraying. According to reporting, their arguments become frequent and very public. It reached to the point where they appeared on the Montel Williams show in the year 2000 to air their issues. I cannot imagine people that go on like the Dr. Phil type of shows and like talking about their marital issues. That is crazy to me. I can't imagine being like, yeah, let's make this public and see what the whole world thinks about our marital issues.
Yeah, that is weird. And I just locked in my guess.
All right, it's locked in.
Yeah.
On that episode, Kristi revealed that their youngest daughter, Haley,
is not his.
You nailed that. It wasn't Joey's biological child. Despite the betrayal, though, on live television, Joey's like, I will raise this child as my own. Like, I don't know if he just like automatically forgave her or if this has been a discussion and he's like, it's for the child or it's for Kristi. I'm not sure on like how their relationship was during this. But obviously there was like unfaithful relationship going on.
Yeah.
Gross. And I couldn't find the whole television episode, but here's a clip.
Your husband agreed to go ahead and, be the father of this baby?
He said that it didn't matter who she belonged to, that he was going to be her daddy. And
financial strain followed, which is a typical breaking point in a marriage as well.
Yeah.
Reports cite that Kristi may have been living with her father on and off. Like, she was out of the house a little bit.
Made the living?
She lived with her father sometimes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it sounds like she wasn't very present in the home. And at one point, she was actually planning on getting a new house with her children and her boyfriend, Kyle.
Oh, she got a new boyfriend now?
All while married to Joey still. She's married. She's got a boyfriend. She has a kid that's not theirs.
She's camping with her brother?
What?
In the beginning?
What did you say?
She was camping with her brother?
Yeah, there's a beach trip over the weekend. Yeah,
okay.
With her half-brother. Mm-hmm.
Kyle? I'm just kidding.
You're getting me all confused. Tyler.
No, I'm just joking.
Kyle's the boyfriend. Yeah, so all this to highlight how messy the relationship is.
Yeah.
We have a lot of characters floating around. By early 2003, the marriage was over. Divorce papers were filed. Separation was complete. The home that once had their family dinners and these trips now carried like this awkward silence. Mm-hmm. With that background and the family dynamic, this is where I was going to tell you to lock in your answer. So I'm glad you already locked in.
Yeah, I locked in pretty early.
Yeah, you were quick
Maybe
with it.
Put that in the notes when next time, like, all right, Blake, lock in answer.
All right, I'll do it. I mean, I told you I was going to tell you.
I know, but I
got
just
excited.
Jumped the gun.
You got excited. They drive to Kristi's house to notify her of Joey's death to see how she reacts. This is the detectives. Kristi answers the door, pale and trembling. As we know from the intro, she got a phone call. She was already aware. So when they came up, she is already in distress. It's not like it's breaking news for her. She insists that she had been away for the weekend on the short beach trip like we just talked about with her half-brother, 13-year-old Tyler. She tells them she had no contact with Joey since the trip began. Her alibi sounds plausible. They ask her to come down to the station to give a full statement. And she agrees. Shockingly, very cooperative. Mm-hmm. I mean, anyone who's had like a bad relationship like that we read about with these divorces and stuff often aren't quick to want to help in that investigation. Mm-hmm. But by nightfall, the entire case would be flipped upside down.
Oh.
So we're going to start with Kristi. We're in her interrogation room right now.
All right.
A digital recorder is set on the table with red light blinking, but they have no camera going on. Which is shocking to me because...
Just recording?
Yep, so they have a recorder.
The old days, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's the old days. What happens here will be remembered later only through detectives' words and Kristi's signature at the bottom of a typed statement. She sits across two investigators. It's May 12th, 2003, so this is 2 days after Joey Fulgham's body was found. They start gently. They just ask her about her weekend, how it went, like who would have wanted to hurt Joey if she had to pick somebody. Sometimes I'm shocked about how random investigators' questions seem to be. Like, you'll say, like, oh, like, if you were going to hurt someone, how would you do it?
Yeah.
I feel like as, like, someone getting interrogated, you're not like, I would do it like this.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird to me.
I did exactly how it was done.
I know. That's always odd to me. But, so it seems like they're kind of asking those type of questions.
I'm pretty sure O.J. Simpson wrote a book saying, like, if I did it, this is how I'd do it, or something like that.
Do you think O.J. Simpson did it?
Probably.
I never got into that case.
Allegedly.
Like, I will be honest, I don't really know much about it, surprisingly. The ones that get really high publicity, I feel like I just actually don't hear anything about. Regardless.
Yeah, it says the book's called If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so wild. But he is, like, protected by double jeopardy then, huh?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
And I think he's dead, but...
I think he, like, more recently
If I Did
died.
It, with exclusive commentary, He Did It by Goldman Family.
What the heck?
I don't know what that means. But
That is odd behavior. Anyways. Well, that's like so stereotypical, like narcissist behavior to write a book about it after the fact. That's crazy. Anyways, back to our story. Kristi begins talking about their failed marriage, how they argued, they fought regularly. She tells them about the beach, blah, 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 blah. Everything we know about them. At first, she says nothing about the shooting. But as the questioning stretches past an hour, her tone shifts and she actually begins to cry, and that's when the bomb drops. She says that Joey had been mean to her. She says, according to detectives' later statements, that she said he had said that he was going to take her children, and her little half-brother got mad about it and said he was going to fix it. Interesting. Detectives pressed for clarification. Like, okay, so you're telling us
How
right
old
now...
is he again?
13. Like, you're telling us right now that a 13-year-old Tyler talked about killing Joey. Like, did he bring a gun? Like, tell us more. Mm-hmm. Kristi goes on. She says that he had her dad's .22 rifle. She tells him that he was going to do it when Joey was asleep. The investigators record her statement word for word, later describing her as composed but tearful. She went on to say that he raised the gun, then fired one shot. Joey never woke up.
She was there?
This is iffy on if she was there.
Yeah.
Some reports make it sound like she was in the room, she witnessed it, and she saw this happen. Other makes it sound like this is what Tyler told her how it happened.
Yeah. Weird.
From what I gather, it seems like she witnessed it firsthand.
Kind of sounds like they did it on their way out to the beach.
Does kind of sound like that. And that's actually what she says. She said when the detectives ask why she didn't stop him, she repeats the same line saying, like, he wanted to help. He was trying to protect me. According to trial testimony, Kristi then explained that she and Tyler fled together afterward. Like you said, they wanted to get away, putting Joey's wallet and computer in the car trunk before dipping out of town, making it kind of look like a robbery. Failed attempt. People who try to make it look like a robbery literally do not know how a robbery looks.
I know. So it's like they grab random things but left jewelry that was out and like money
cash on the table.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah. Looks so bad.
Yeah.
Or like they're like, yeah, they rifle through drawers like they're just opened.
Yeah.
Or something stupid. But by the time her formal statement ends, the paper in front of her runs nearly 2 pages of what happened. At the bottom, she signs her name, Kristi Fulgham, and that's that.
And there's only video or audio?
Yeah, there's
no
only
video?
audio with her. Exactly.
That's suspicious.
Kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
Whatever. Detectives step out into the hallway.
Maybe that's how the old days were.
I don't know, because Tyler sure had a video.
Oh.
So it seems kind of weird, but maybe they were experimenting with video and
camera
video.
was broken.
Yeah, probably. And this maybe is what I just found. Maybe there very well is a video and this is not public anywhere.
Yeah.
So detectives step out into the hallway. In just a few hours, their case is getting wrapped up. They have motive, they have detail, they have a confession that points to a teenage killer, and soon they will have the suspect's own confession. So let's talk about Tyler, because obviously this case kind of surrounds him.
Yeah.
At 13, Tyler Edmonds was a quiet kid who spent most of his time at home in West Point, Mississippi, with his mother, Sharon Clay, and his stepdad. Teachers described him as polite, soft-spoken, and more comfortable around adults than kids his own age, kind of like an old soul type of vibe, it sounds like. But everyone really just said he was like a really just generic, nice
chill
kid.
Guy.
Yeah, chill guy. And of course, as we know... Until, dun, dun, dun. Well, this is what's weird. Of course, as we know, Tyler and his half-sister are, like, super duper close. Kristi, who had a different mom, but they shared the same dad, she would arrange it so Tyler could see his dad. Kristi was kind of his only connection to that side of the family, because Tyler's mom did not want him seeing his dad. So they're kind of, like, sneaking behind so that he can see his dad. Like this weird thing going on, and so like he kind of felt like she was his only family on that side of the family. Sharon, the mom, later just said that her son like worshipped Kristi, and the court filings would echo that as well, saying like he trusted her completely. They do kind of seemed a little obsessed with each other. It's like kind of a weird relationship in my opinion.
Yeah. He
even wrote a school essay called "I Love My Sister More Than I Love Myself."
That's weird.
You're telling me you didn't write an essay like that?
No.
Rude. You hate me. Just kidding. Yeah, so it seems a little unhealthy, but whatever. He had no prior trouble with police, no record, no violence in his history at all. Just kind of a shy teenager who wanted his sister's approval and had no idea that loyalty to her would soon define his life. So now, we're in Tyler's interrogation room, a few days after his half-sister was taken into questioning. 13-year-old Tyler Edmonds sit in a chair too tall for him at the, I'm going to only say this once, Oktibbeha County Sheriff's Office.
Oktibbeha.
I think Oktibbeha, if my pronunciation is right. His mother, Sharon Clay, sits beside him as 2 detectives begin their questioning. They ask about Joey Fulgham. Had Tyler ever been to their house? What was their relationship like? Did he know about the rifle? And of course, Tyler spends a lot of time actually at this house. He like loved his sister. He wanted to be with her all the time. So he's very familiar with the house, very familiar with Joey, but denies ever knowing anything about the rifle. He says he spent the weekend with his sister at the beach, didn't know Joey had ever been hurt. The officers press, according to court records, they tell him that
That's savage sister. She's just going to blame him.
That would be savage.
Yeah.
According to court records, They tell him that Kristi had already confessed and said that he was the shooter. Sharon, his mom, was like, whoa, 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 pause, that's crazy. And so she's like questioning us to stop. And wildly enough, detectives were like, actually, Mom, can you step out in the hallway? They usher her out of the room and leave Tyler to be questioned alone. That's never a good sign.
Yeah.
I don't really appreciate how detectives went about that, but
I don't think they can do that.
I do, like, maybe in early 2000s this wasn't a thing yet, but I think that's got to be illegal now.
Yeah.
Well, whatever the case, this is when everything changes. Once his mom is gone, the detectives continue. They tell Tyler that they know what happened, that Kristi said he planned it, that he pulled the trigger. And at first, Tyler's like, you're lying to me. Like, she didn't say that. And then the door opens, and Kristi herself walks in wearing her orange jumpsuit and her hands handcuffed behind her back. Kristi tells him that, listen, we're caught. It's time to tell the truth. And after several minutes, detectives remove her from the room, and that's when Tyler sits there, terrified, and he finally breaks. At approximately 5 p.m., detectives switch on a video camera. So now we got video.
Mm-hmm. Maybe because he's the actual murderer?
Maybe they're like, okay, now we're actually going to get a real confession.
Mm-hmm.
Switch on the video camera. The tape that follows will later be played in court and quoted by the Mississippi Supreme Court. So here's that recording of his account of what happened that night.
I had a gun like this. My hand was sitting right here. What kind of gun was it? I'm not sure what brand, but it's just a 22.
In Tyler's version of events, it was Kristi who planned the murder.
She's been talking about doing it for a while because we killed Joey.
He explains that the rifle's trigger was hard to pull and that Kristi had put her hand over his and assisted him in pulling the trigger. Detectives prompt him for more details. They're like, okay, elaborate.
I heard it go off and I looked at him and saw that it actually hit him.
How do you know that it hit him?
I saw some blood. It was on a pillow, I guess. Something white. And there was just some little sprinkles on it. I thought it was blood. But then, that it really go off and I couldn't believe that I did.
And that was it. The prosecutors had exactly what they needed. When Sharon Clay is finally allowed back in the room, crazy, she's just out there while her 13-year-old's confessing, Tyler looks at her and says that he told them everything. He told them the truth.
I don't have a problem with him talking to you, but I would prefer to be in the room because he is a minor. And y'all are sitting here doing stuff behind my back.
What's wrong, baby? He told me the truth. Okay, what is the truth?
Tyler and Kristi are both immediately charged for murder. Kristi faced the death penalty, and Tyler faced life in prison if convicted. A few days after his videotaped confession, 13-year-old Tyler Edmonds asked to speak to investigators again. He had been sitting in a cell at the County Juvenile Detention Center, replaying that interrogation over and over in his head. His sister's voice and the instructions she gave him when she came in to see him. When they finally met with him, like the detectives, he told them the truth as he remembered it on that day that he confessed. Tyler explains how Kristi told him that if he doesn't tell the investigators that he did it, she's going to get the electric chair. And she tells him that he's a minor. He's only going to get a slap on the wrist.
Oh, dang.
And so he explains, like, he was just under pressure and that he was scared and exhausted and frightened. He believed he was protecting his sister's life.
Yeah.
According to police reports, later entered into evidence, detectives noted simply that Tyler had changed his story. They did not make a new recording. There is no written or videotaped statement documenting that he recanted his previous confession. There is nothing that is public, or not publicly, but verified, documented that he had redacted that statement.
Wow.
That absence mattered big time. In court, prosecutors pointed to a single existing tape, Tyler saying that he shot Joey and that Kristi helped. Everything else was treated as backpedaling. So to jurors who would later watch that video again and again and again, the image of a quiet teenage boy confessing looked more real than anything secondhand. Like, it does feel like backpedaling. Like, oh, I changed my mind, right? Mm-hmm. Tyler's mom, Sharon Clay, remembered that during this trial, like during her next visit, Tyler would say that he didn't do it and that Kristi's making him say all this stuff. And it just points to the fact if that's true, how sickening of a half sister to almost groom him into being a scapegoat.
Yeah.
So now they got to find out is he backpedaling or is she a psychopath?
She's a psychopath.
Yeah, she's a freak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm convinced.
I'm convinced too. So I was you're a loser, you know?
Yeah.
So for police, though, the case was already made. They had the gun. They had motives supplied by Kristi's story, and most importantly, that videotape confession.
I think we already know she's a psychopath too.
That's true.
She like cheated on her husband, like got a boyfriend, wanted to move out.
That's true.
She's super manipulative already.
Yeah, just like her background shows manipulation. Even like put the whole murder case aside, she's got a lot of weird things going for her. A lot of manipulation. Yeah, I agree.
Pro manipulator.
Wow, fancy.
Yeah.
Very nice. So by June 2003, the indictment was filed. Tyler Edmonds would face charge of murder, and he would be tried as an adult. So sad.
Yeah.
So Tyler Edmonds, he's now 15. So
Careful who you trust.
Yeah, true. He had already spent 14 months in jail at this point.
Wow.
Yeah. So by the time he actually gets to trial, he's already had lots of jail time experienced.
Yeah.
So he walks into trial, his mom close behind him. The courtroom was packed. Local reporters filled the benches, court TV cameras aimed straight at the defense table. Like, they were shocked to see this boy accused of shooting his brother-in-law in cold blood.
Yeah.
Prosecutors began with the videotape. They played it once, then again. Like, it sounds like it was on repeat throughout the whole trial. This poor kid. It just says how he shot them. You guys saw a little clip of it.
Yeah.
But that recording was the state's centerpiece. In fact, there was no fingerprints. There was no gunshot residue testing. There was no blood evidence linking him to the scene. What they had was a confession and Kristi Fulgham's word. Kristi, the master manipulator, the pro manipulator, however you said it.
I don't remember.
And so it's like, that's what their case stood on.
Yeah. Jeez.
The defense countered that the confession was false, a product of fear and manipulation. Sharon Clay testified that her son was interrogated without her and basically behind her back. She was told to step out of the room, not knowing that Kristi was going to be coming in telling him to say certain stuff. When Tyler took the stand in his own defense, he told the jury exactly what happened when Kristi came to the room. That she told him that he was only going to get slapped on the wrist, like he needs to protect her, all this stuff. But the prosecution played the video again and again, remind jurors that his retraction was never written, it was never taped, it was never witnessed, and that he was just changing his story to fit this moment. That's so frustrating.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then came Dr. Stephen Hain. So this is the state's pathologist. He testified that based on the bullet trajectory and the bruising on Joey Fulgham's body, it appeared that 2 people had pulled the trigger at that same time.
That's weird.
Can you see my eye roll? I'm making it so dramatic.
How
Are
did
you freaking kidding me? Yeah, I'm no pathologist.
They're like, how much money will it take to testify to this?
That's the question, because I can't eye roll hard enough thinking, am I unintelligent and just don't know how that works? Or is this guy full of baloney? Because there's no way.
Baloney.
So much baloney.
So baloney.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you're not going to be able to tell how many people are shooting again at once.
Yeah, and like by the bullet entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Come on.
Yeah, get
out
of here.
There's no way.
Scumbag.
That's what I'm saying.
Allegedly.
I guess we shall see. He says that the angle is consistent with 2 sets of hands.
How does that even make sense?
I know, but I mean,
They're holding the gun a certain way that can
only happen when you have 2 hands on it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it stinks because that single line is devastated to the defense because the jurors are seeing this supposed professional and like this specialist who knows this stuff.
Yeah. I still don't really get.
No one understands it. And so it supports the fact that Tyler's original confession was true, that they pulled it together.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was on the jury, I'd be like, this guy's
Give me
an
more
idiot.
information. Yeah, because I'm like, that'd be tough. Like, can you Google that and be like,
I was almost on a jury.
Oh yeah, last month or this month, huh?
Yeah, but
weren't used.
They didn't need me.
Yeah, I feel like that's always how it happens. You get a letter and then you never see it happen.
Yeah.
The jury deliberated for 6 hours and then returned their answer. Honestly, the judge seemed to have been against Tyler the entire time. When he received the envelope with the jury's results, he gave a sly smile as he read, Tyler Edmonds guilty.
Jeez.
Sentenced to life in prison with eligibility for parole after 50 years.
Oh, dang.
meaning his release would be
Don't mess around.
at 65 years old. Sickening.
Yeah.
Tyler's lawyers believed that the judge fully believed that Tyler was guilty of murder before the trial even started, which is so annoying. Hannah and I were going back, we're like, this judge sucks. I mean, I don't know him personally, so I can't say he sucks. But it does seem...
Sounds like he does.
It seems a little biased.
Sucks balls.
Yeah, it seems a little sucky. So...
Allegedly.
As Tyler had his first visit with his mom in jail, he said to her, "Mama, please don't leave me here." So sad.
Yeah.
And Sharon just sobbed, as deputies took her child away from her. So sickening.
That is sickening.
So let's talk about Kristi, because she goes on trial. While Tyler sat in youth custody, prosecutors turned their attention to Kristi Fulgham. Her case moved much slower. It's burdened by capital murder procedures, all the little nitty-gritties.
Yeah.
But by December of 2006, she stood trial in that same courthouse. But this time, her half-brother's videotape confession was actually used against her as corroboration that she conspired in Joey's killing. So, the evidence was overwhelming for Kristi.
Yeah.
The most damaging witness against Kristi actually wasn't a detective. It wasn't an expert. It was her own father. And I love when that happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you get her. Anyways, I get proud. He testified that Kristi had came to her house, or came to his house, thank you, before the murder, asking for his .22 rifle.
Mm-hmm.
The same type of weapon, obviously, that was linked to Joey's death.
Also, a .22 shouldn't be hard to shoot. It doesn't need two people, even if you're 13.
Yeah, it seems like it was really old, so it might get sticky.
Yeah, or she just told him to say that.
Yeah. Well, we'll dive into that a little bit more, too. But, of course, he asked her, why she wanted it. I feel like if you have suspicion that your dog's going to do something crazy, maybe don't give her your gun.
Yeah.
She said that it's for protection. And so he gave it to her. But prosecutors argued that she had already planned to use it to kill Joey for his life insurance policy. We always know it's about the life insurance policy, which I'm confused about because I'm pretty sure their divorce was already finalized. Maybe they were just separated and the paperwork was in. But
or she's still a beneficiary.
Oh, true.
Beneficiary.
Well, what she doesn't know is that Joey
He already
was quick.
switched it.
Yeah. Joey was quick to make his mom the sole beneficiary. Okay. And she had no idea that she was already pulled off the policy.
Nice.
And I was like, love that for you, Joey. So sad that this is potentially a reason that your life was taken too soon. Investigators also introduced bank and hotel records showing that Kristi had spent a large amount of money that very weekend that he was murdered. She was staying at casino hotel places.
Thinking she's getting money.
Yeah, thinking that she's getting money. And actually, the prosecutors argued that this actually points to it being Joey's paycheck that paid for their weekend. Because they had a cash paycheck. And allegedly, this is where they're pointing at saying she was in it for the money, right? So taken together, it painted a picture of deliberate planning, a motive of money, a weapon sourced from family, and an alibi built on manipulation. The prosecution called it the perfect setup, with Tyler as the scapegoat that she never expected to talk. Because really, she was grooming him, as horrible as that is. Kristi Fulgham was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to death by lethal injection. However, 4 years later, her sentence was commuted to life without parole after the Mississippi Supreme Court ruled that her original sentencing phase contained procedural errors. But regardless, her guilt stood. It's crazy how often procedural errors happen and how often things are turned.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer, but. So regardless, they're like, you're guilty, jail.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Kristi's death sentence was overturned, Tyler Edmonds had already spent 5 years behind bars at this point. So it's been slow drag for him a little bit. His mother was still filing appeal after appeal. And this is a video of her explaining that.
Tyler's defense was pretty expensive, but I had liquidated everything I had, and I'll be in debt for the rest of my life. It was all about saving my child's life, and when you go to save your child's life, what is your child's life worth? What is your child's life worth?
So it's so painful to know what that family has gone through. Nevertheless, the murdered victim's family as well. You have so many victims in this case.
Yeah.
Which is horrible. He was now 18 years old. So their argument was simple. as they're trying to do this appeal over and over. Their entire conviction rested on a confession coerced from a child on junk science, like that Dr. Stephen Haynes theory that 2 people had pulled the trigger.
I'm going to look him up.
Look him up. Let's see a picture.
Yeah.
But even in the middle of all that pain, 2 families broken in different ways, something was changing. Sharon Clay refused to let her son's story end in that cell. She found new attorneys, new experts, and the courage to reopen every wound the case had left behind. What began as a mother's plea for mercy was about to become a full-scale fight for justice. And in 2007, that fight finally reached the Mississippi Supreme Court, the place where everything would begin to unravel. You found a picture?
Yep.
Does he look like a swell guy?
Looks like a fat idiot.
Oh, can't be saying that. Oh wow, the middle hair. Yeah, that's a good toupee he's got there. Looking hair. All right, well, here's the turning point. You listening?
Yep.
On May 17th, 2007, the Mississippi Supreme Court issued its decision. The opinion opened with a blunt statement saying that no physical evidence links Edmonds to the crime, and then added that we find Dr. Haynes' conclusion that 2 persons pulled the trigger simultaneously scientifically unfounded and unreliable. I'm like, correct. They noted that the jury had been shown nothing but the videotape and that Tyler's confession had been tainted from both law enforcement officers and his codependent sister. With that, the court vacated his conviction and ordered a new trial.
Nice.
Awesome. When Sharon read the opinion aloud to her son over the phone, she said, "You're coming home. Like, we're going to do this right." And so they're like, new breath of fresh air, new trial. Let's figure this out. The Supreme Court's decision didn't set him free yet. It erased the conviction, but the state still had the power to try him again. So for Sharon, it was both a victory and dread rolled into one. They had to do this all over again.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the fear knowing, like, your whole future depends on how this trial goes. Oh, so scary. And so they're brought to that same question. Did a scared 13-year-old really kill his brother-in-law? The state had a choice to either offer a plea deal or to retry him. And so obviously they chose to try again. I can't imagine why they'd ever choose a plea deal. But this time, everything was
Well, a lot
different.
of times you do a plea deal so you don't get
You're
convicted for
guaranteed.
way longer.
Yeah.
It's like 5 years or 10 years or potential life in prison. It's like, I'll just take 5 years and say I did it, even though I didn't.
Well, I think in this situation, they're like, they had zero evidence that Tyler was involved.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's definitely worth the risk to be like, they had the videotape confession and that's it. At least he's not tied in any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they had forensics or anything on it, like the gunpowder residue, anything like that, I think they would have considered it more. But, well, everything was different with this trial. A new pathologist testified that there was no scientific way to determine how many people were pulling the trigger. Like, I'm so glad they got that, like, right off the bat. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Ballistics evidence couldn't place Tyler at the scene, and the defense called witnesses who described Kristi's manipulative history. Like you said, like the affair, like maybe the insurance motive, the potential grooming. Like, she seems like she has a past of manipulation regardless of this trial.
Yep.
Kristi herself was actually brought in from death row to testify, but on her lawyer's advice, she actually pleaded the fifth on every single question. So she was useless. The jury deliberated for just 4 hours. When they returned, the foreman looked directly at Tyler and said, "Not guilty."
Let's go.
Yes.
Go, Tyler.
So stoked for him. Sharon was like bawling. I can't imagine like that's your child. You're like, how did we get tangled up in this horrible situation?
Mm-hmm.
5 years, 1 life sentence, and a lifetime of blame all erased with those 2 words. So what really happened? This is what we're going to get into. So this is what Tyler says actually happened that day and how he was very much not involved.
I saw that there was a defamation lawsuit filed in 2008 against Haney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know. I saw that, like, I think I had this at the end, but I think...
Oh, no, he sued, I think.
Oh, really?
He was terminated.
Wow.
Was removed from Mississippi list of approved pathologists for the complaint.
That's crazy. I actually have later that the Innocence Project actually had at least 3 other convictions relying on his opinions were overturned because of his suckiness.
Yeah, it looks like he sued the Innocence Project for defamation, claiming the nonprofit damaged his reputation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did it say if he won?
Said they settle out of court.
That's typically how it goes, it seems.
Seems like he deserved it, though.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, at least be wary.
Allegedly.
This is all allegedly. Surely. So, what happened that day? Tyler did not have school on Friday, May 9th, and Kristi had promised to pick him up after school on Thursday, actually, but she didn't show up. But later promised to pick him up on Friday morning instead. This goes on and on and on. Finally, whatever, she comes, gets him Friday afternoon around 4 p.m. They went to Joey's house where Kristi tried shooting that .22 in the backyard. So Tyler is there not knowing why she has this .22. Evidently, she tries to shoot in the backyard and the gun wouldn't fire. Joey came home, like her ex-husband, came home around 5 p.m. 2 of the Fulgham children, so they have 3 kids, 2 of them were picked up by Kristi's father, so grandpa came and got them. And he lived nearby. I guess it wasn't uncommon for him to like watch the kids and stuff. So Joey, Kristi, Tyler, and 1 other child were at the house this night. They were all hanging out, got Subway sandwiches, whatever. They ate and Joey went to bed while Kristi spent the evening on the computer. Later in the evening, she instructed her ex-husband to go sleep in the kids' bedroom. Tyler went to sleep and awoke the next morning around 4 a.m. to an alarm that Kristi had set. She told him to gather her kid, get in the car, and they would go on their beach weekend trip. She also told him to put the home computer, excluding the monitor and the keyboard, in the trunk. So this is kind of like setting up the scene. Tyler put the child in the back of the car. He started the engine and started playing for the radio and waited for his sister. During that time, he heard a pop sound coming from the house. He thought nothing of it since I guess Kristi had a cat that would knock things over a lot, and it just sounded like it was just making noise and didn't really care to come out. Kristi, came out, closed the trunk, and got in the car. Kristi gave Tyler a wallet to put in the glove box, and he did. They started to drive, took a route that was not the usual way to his dad's house. And so when Tyler was asked what's going on, she was like, oh, actually, never mind. Disregard everything. We're not going to your dad's house. We're actually going to go pick up my boyfriend. We're going to go to this like Gulfport, Biloxi, I think is how, Biloxi. I don't know what that place is. Biloxi is a city or something like that. Biloxi. For the weekend. And Tyler really just had no choice. He's like, dang it, now we're not going to my dad's. We're going to go pick up your boyfriend. And we're
Kyle?
Yeah. And now they're going on a different trip than he expected. Tyler was with Kyle and Kristi in this like hotel and like on that expensive excursion the weekend that Joey died. So Kristi paid for all of this, obviously. Yeah. Turns out she could afford all this luxury because she had taken Joey's wallet.
Yep.
This was the same wallet that she gave Tyler. Tyler had no idea who paid for it. He wasn't paying attention. He was so painfully unaware of the whole situation. He says, like, hey, I just spent the night. We went on a trip the next day. That's literally all I know. In the meanwhile, we know that she had shot and killed Joey, and they went to an escape. They spent Saturday at the beach, literally, and then that's where our story picks up, is when they were driving home. She got the phone call, and it was from actually her family friend that told her. So Tyler Edmonds walked free that day. He was cleared of all charges. Kristi Fulgham remained in prison for life without parole. Tyler moved out west, actually, I think even maybe in Arizona, but he worked for the U.S. Department of Defense and later advocated for laws that require attorneys to be present whenever a minor is interrogated. He said he didn't want revenge, only reform, which is huge. I love when people go on and do stuff like that. He says that no kid should ever go through what he did. Not ever. The things he saw in jail. Yeah. So scary. So Joey Fulgham, he was remembered by his family and friends as a steady, grounded presence in the world that often felt unstable. His brother said after the sentencing of Kristi that their family now has peace of mind, and that's all they really wanted. His legacy is one of fatherhood, service, and a simple acts of kindness. The man who worked in the National Guard maintained the home for his children and sustained a sense of normalcy even when life was far from easy. Tyler Edmonds walked out a free man, but freedom didn't erase what those years had taken. Joey Fulgham was still gone, his family still grieving, and Tyler's mother still carrying the weight of lost justice and financial damage. Kristi will spend the rest of her life behind bars, a quiet ending to a storm that tore 2 families apart. The case became a warning about what happens when fear guides the truth and children are left unprotected. Tyler says he doesn't want revenge, like I said, only change, and because no one should ever feel forced to confess to something they didn't do. And that is the story of Joey Fulgham and Tyler Edmonds.
Alrighty.
A lot to it.
Yeah.
Before, though, you get into that, what was your guess?
My guess was the wife hired the brother to kill him or another friend of hers to kill while they were camping to give an alibi.
Like a hit?
Yeah, so that's kind of close, but wrong.
That is kind of close.
All right, you guys ready for true crime news?
Yes, true crime news.
All right, according to ChatGPT, Florida murder for hire plot against a teen. It's from the New York Post. Federal prosecutors revealed that a 36-year-old Florida man paid his cousin $6,000 to murder a 17-year-old high school junior whom he had molested in an attempt to stop her from testifying. The victim was shot to death at her home on February 7, 2023. Her mother was also shot and survived.
That's so horrible. Like, not only was she just taken advantage of and then later murdered. Oh, that makes me sick. And that poor mom has to live through all that. I hate that.
Yeah.
People are horrible.
Alrighty, I agree.
And now he could have been charged for, like, the attack, and now he's getting charged also for murder. What an idiot.
Yeah. Next one, long-term stalking of actress and daughter. So actress Eva LaRue and her daughter Kaya Callahan were stalked for over 12 years by a man who used violent threats and impersonations. The stalker posed as the father at the daughter's school. The story is being told in a docuseries airing November 13th, according to People TV.
Wow.
So I guess we can watch it when? A couple days from now? The Thursday?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, so, Netflix coming out on Thursday? Stalking of a... Do we know what it's called?
I don't know if it's on Netflix.
That's so sick, though. Like, stalking always leads to more.
Yeah.
Like, stalking should have harsher punishments.
Yep, I agree.
That's so scary.
Former cult member post-prison life. Allison Mack, formerly in the, I forget what this cult's called, but NXIVM, I've heard of it, has taken a surprising turn after early prison release, pursuing a master's in social work, featured in a new podcast exploring her transition.
Wow.
According to...
Wait, I don't want this kind of true crime news.
Page 6.
Where they're like, turning out good in the end. Okay.
Yeah.
Is she the one that they killed one of, like, a man that was in her cult?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly.
Okay. I'd be curious to look into that. Wait, how do you spell it?
NXIVM. I've seen the cult and I've heard about it. I just don't know how to say it. In LaPorte County, Indiana, a father and son are charged in killing a woman's beagle in Chocolate Lab with a bow and arrow while on a deer hunt.
What?
They face felony animal killing and obstruction charges.
That is the craziest thing ever. Father and son, like...
There's bow hunting and...
They're like, hey, so you get whatever purpose. You can find. That's
Sounds
so
like...
weird. I can't imagine two people agreeing to something like that. I guess they're cut from the same cloth. Wow.
All right, last one. The body of 13-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in the trunk of a Tesla owned by music artist D4VD. It looks like David or something.
Oh,
Despite the
I've
gruesome
heard of that
discovery,
guy.
Including evidence she may have been placed there for over a month, investigators say charges may be limited to a misdemeanor for concealing human remains.
Ew.
New York Post. That one sounds wild.
Wait, I've heard of this guy. I think he's a TikTok guy. Like that David guy.
D4.
Yeah, I saw a few
VD.
posts that were like, I didn't see much about it, but it's just that like all this stuff was coming out that he was like getting charged for something. That's all I really saw.
Wow.
But a misdemeanor, like, are we not worried why she was there in the first place or what happened to her?
I don't know.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I think they should look way more into that instead of being like, oh, he's just in possession of.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to her and why is she there?
Yeah, it says the cause of the death for the 14-year-old, whose body was discovered wrapped in plastic, is still unconfirmed. The LA Police Department told KTLA in a statement last week that simply refers to a previous press release. It remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. So basically, they don't know if there's anything else. Yeah,
That's still
rather
weird.
than like keeping remains or something.
Like, how would you even be in possession of remains? So, like, that whole thing's... And also...
Yeah, why would you have remains?
Why would you have remains, and how long has this person been in your car? Have you been actively driving this car? Like,
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions.
Something about the smell, too, is like crazy.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know how that even came to be. But
Yep. So all that was found by ChatGPT and in different local news. We don't know anything about it. Allegedly, everything.
True. All right. Well, that's all we have. Oh, I guess before we go, Ohio State.
Yeah, we pounded Purdue. And we didn't cover, though, but it was because we put all of our backups in and Purdue had a late touchdown. So, yeah, we're looking good. Still number one. We're playing UCLA this week. We had a lot of good new recruits committing to us as a late surge, which has been awesome. And, yeah, should be more to come. So I think some recruits are going to the game against UCLA because it's a night game finally. Because the Fox kind of screws the Buckeyes over a lot by making us play at big news. A lot of people can't come to the games because it's too early for them to finish their game, fly out to Ohio, and make it to our game. So it'd be nice to have a night game. Yep.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
And we won't be working because it's night.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yeah. We probably should be home by then.
True.
No matter what.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thanks for listening to this week. We'll be back next week with another episode of Siblings in Crime.
Thank you.